This is so exciting.
It is the biggest giveaway ever.
If you've followed us for a while, you may remember way back in 2020 when we got the MORryde Independent Suspension installed on our RV.
Yeah, that was our first RV, which was our Momentum 397TH, and we lived and traveled in it full time for 2 full years before we got the independent suspension installed. So we had good experience with what it was like before and after.
Here we go. Oh my god.
Wow.
We were so impressed by the difference that it made in not only the ride and the feel in the RV, but also in the truck.
Holy cow.
Wow.
That is big difference.
That is a big difference. So when we were working with Grand Design on developing this Momentum 410TH, we knew we didn't want to go back to the regular leaf springs and axles.
So we had the independent suspension installed at the factory before we took delivery.
Since that time, MORryde has been working on some great improvements to make their independent suspension system even better.
Yeah, and what they're calling the Independent Suspension 2.0. And when we were talking with MORryde about potentially making a video about these new changes and what's changed in the 2.0 system, we had an idea.
A really cool idea we didn't think that they'd go for.
We remembered how much fun it was to do that before and after test ride. And so we pitched the idea to MORryde, well, maybe they can do a giveaway and then we could film that before and after. And they went for it.
Holy cow, we're gonna give away a whole independent suspension system.
And with that, we get to come do it with you. And we're gonna do the before and after test rides and everything with the winner of this contest.
Before we get into the details of the giveaway, we have a lot to unpack about this new independent suspension system 2.0 and what the changes are that they've made to it.
Then we're going to go over the giveaway details because this isn't your average giveaway. There are quite a few qualifications that you'll need to enter. I mean, you can't enter without having an RV, for instance, so that's pretty obvious, but we got to go over those, but we'll get to those at the end.
In case this is your first time hearing about independent suspension, let's jump into what exactly that is.
Yeah, you know, your stock RVs are typically going to come with stock axles, which is just a big tube that goes all the way across your RV. Also leaf springs and hangers, and all of this stuff is interconnected. Obviously your axle is connected, it's one axle, so as you hit things over here, it's felt over here. Also your leaf springs are connected front to back, so the whole thing is interconnected, and shock felt on one side is felt on the other side. Additionally, a leaf spring is only going to give you about 2 inches of travel. Did you know that the leaf spring dates back over 4,000 years to the Roman Empire and chariots? It's old technology. I looked it up.
What?
I looked it up. Facts.
That's so weird.
But my point is it's super old technology, and what the independent suspension does is it gives you, just like it sounds, an independent suspension on every single wheel through the whole system. Additionally to being independent, it has 5.5 inches of travel on a double shear spring suspension along with a shock absorber. So it has a lot more ability to absorb that energy when you hit those rotten potholes on I-90 in Indiana.
On the bulk of the roads throughout the country, as we have found.
Yeah, these roads aren't great, guys.
So we know that was really a high-level overview of an independent suspension. If you want more details on independent suspension, you can check out this video up here, which was our previous experience with getting the independent suspension installed.
Yeah, and we did a full before and after test ride in that, and that was amazing.
We weren't expecting the ride in the truck to be so greatly improved.
I know, that was amazing. We were really surprised by that. Here comes some railroad tracks.
Okay, ready? Here we go.
We're going over there at 30 miles an hour. Boy, yeah, that is amazing. Holy cow. In short, the independent suspension, compared to all the different options that are out there, is the best suspension you can get for your RV in our opinion.
So what is new about the 2.0 system? How did they make the best even better?
So first is they did some minor changes and took some feedback from customers to make some minor tweaks to the existing system. Number one is they added a shear spring compression 3-degree chevron to prevent the pivot arm from kind of hitting the frame sometimes when you would hit really bad potholes. They also changed to loop shocks on the system. Before, you had a little bolt sticking out of the bottom of the shock that is on the very bottom of the independent suspension. And we've never had this happen, but apparently that little bolt tends to pick up some road debris every now and then. So they got rid of that and eliminate that problem. Another change they made was in the torque bracket. That's the big thing that holds the pivot arm for the actual suspension to go up and down. They made that a little bit bigger and beefier, and it's now a single cast piece instead of multiple pieces. This gives it a little bit more rigidity and firmness, so you're not going to have your alignment knocked out by hitting a large pothole.
But the biggest change is how the whole thing is attached to the RV.
Yeah, previously, back when we had our system done, both this RV and our previous RV, it had to be completely welded not only to the frame, but all the cross members were custom built. That was all welded. The entire thing was a weld-on system and could only be done at MORryde. So the new system is completely bolt-on. Not only is it bolt-on to the frame and to your existing leaf spring hangers, it's also a bolt-on system for the cross members so it can be adjusted. Oh, okay, so I see the U-bolts are holding the cross beam, so that whole thing can be adjustable.
Yeah, that can be adjusted.
In and out.
Yep.
So you might think, big deal, it's the same suspension, it's just mounted differently. But this actually comes with several advantages. Number one is now OEMs, original equipment manufacturers, RV manufacturers, can have systems sent to them and bolt them on at the factory. This means you can get the independent suspension much easier with your RV if you order your RV from the manufacturer. The second big thing with that whole bolt-on system is, guess what? You can unbolt it and remove it and move it to a new RV. Because of the way they've designed the cross members to be adjustable with these ginormous U-bolts, you can actually have it pulled off of your RV, adjusted, and installed onto a new RV. You can take it with you.
It depends on what kind of RV you have, right?
Yeah, it's still gonna be there. Obviously, you're not gonna take it off of a fifth wheel and put it on an Airstream. There has to be some level of compatibility there. But yeah, the idea here is if you have a similar RV, 6 to 8K axles like, you know, on this one, you can move it over.
The moment you've all been waiting for. How the heck do you enter this giveaway? Now please pay attention because there are going to be a lot of requirements.
Yeah, and honestly, we're going to cover some of them here, but most of them we want you to go read. Sorry, you got to go read, because some of the requirements might change between the time that we film this and when you actually enter, so we want to make sure that you're eligible. Obviously, the most obvious thing is you got to have an RV.
But you have to have the right RV too.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So like we talked about, it can't be like an Airstream or a super small short RV because that's not available yet. It has to be compatible with the 2.0 system. Fifth wheel, travel trailer, or something along those lines. We're going to have all the details in the post that we'll link below. It has to be compatible with the 2.0 system, which means it's got to have between 2 and 3 axles. They have to be 6K to 8K axles, usually on a fifth wheel or a travel trailer.
You must be willing and able to travel with your RV to Elkhart in the allotted time frame that will be in the giveaway page.
And because we're going to film it, we're going to come out and meet you guys, and we're going to film the before ride, the after ride. You must be willing to appear on camera. Putting a bunch of sensor blocks over your faces would just be weird.
It'll be fun, guys. It'll be fun.
We're going to have a blast. That's how this whole thing started, right? Was with our selfish desire to do another before and after test ride because it was so much fun. So you got to be willing to both bring your RV to Elkhart during the time frame. You know, we have to set up a time frame to make this work, and be willing to be on camera with us. Also, you might be saying, well, crap, I already have an independent suspension install appointment. I'm screwed. You're not screwed. It's okay. So if you already have an appointment to get this installed, you can still enter and you can still win. You just might have to move your appointment from whenever you had it to the window where we're actually able to come meet you and install it. So that is still a requirement, but you can still enter. The last caveat is if you do enter and you do win and then we find out you don't have an RV
or it's not the right RV,
or it's not the right RV, there will be a final qualification stage, and if for some reason you don't qualify, we will pick another winner.
So the giveaway is open right now, guys.
Go to the link on your screen. We'll also have the link down below in the description.
Tell your friends, share it with everybody.
You got multiple entries you can get by joining our mailing list and things like that. So good luck.
Good luck, guys.
We'll see you next week.